What's up, everybody? It's your boy Patrick. I took the Npte 3 times, and I want to share with you guys some things I did differently that helped me pass for the third time. I pretty much did everything differently. Compared to the first and second time, I scratched all that, and I had to really reflect and see what I was really weak on. Personally, it wasn't necessarily the content, it was more so test-taking strategy. I had a really difficult time analyzing the questions and really understanding what the test maker was asking. I focused on a program from Kyle Rice called PThustle, the test-taking strategy course. It helped me just decipher essentially a question, no matter what the topic was. I paired that with a program called TrueLearn, and TrueLearn is essentially like a bank of practice questions from the Npte topics, and you can take as little or as many as you want in a day, and you can do them timed, untimed, and when you take them, it gives you like amazing rationales of every single answer, and that helped me studying the content because I paired that with referring back to Final Frontier on certain topics if I needed a little more explanation. I ended up using Therapy Ed for practice exams. I used scorebuilders, and I also used the exam TrueLearn offered, so I stayed away from Pete and I stayed away from Final Frontier's exams because I already saw them. The second thing I did differently was I simulated more of the test-taking environment. I was too comfortable when I was taking my practice exams. So what I did differently is I took all my practice exams at Cal State LA Library and also Cal Poly Pomona Library because it was just the action of getting ready, so going to sleep on time, having the same breakfast, prepping the same meals for your breaks, and that really helped me a lot because it kind of just put me in the mindset of like, okay, I'm taking the exam. So I took 7 practice exams, so I practiced that 7 times. So actually driving, to Cal Poly, driving to Cal State LA. So by the time I took my, exam in January, it was already kind of like, I did this already, right? It was like more routine. The third one, it was just being more efficient with my study times. It wasn't necessarily putting the most hours in, it was how efficient I was within those hours. Being able to practice the test-taking strategies that I was given, opposed to just like reading it, watching the video on 2 speed and just like doing whatever. I was really engaged in each of the modules that they had. And whatever I learned in that specific video, I made sure to practice that in TrueLearn. So I was just like 50 to 60 questions a day. For the practice exams, I wasn't just going through the rationales to get it done. I made sure to see what my weakest topic were. And I would say if it was cardial pulm, that was like my week 1 in my exam, I would make sure to spend like a couple hours of just taking cardial pulm questions on TrueLearn. So just getting more exposed opposed to just like going through like rationales just to get it done. So it was very purposeful. Yeah, just really exposing myself to a lot of practice questions, and you can't really predict what the Npte is going to ask. You just have to be able to slow down what you're reading and be able to just really break down, like, okay, what is exactly they asking for, and using my knowledge to answer the questions. I had to take care of my mental health. So during that time, I found out I didn't pass in November, preparing for the January exam. I ended up seeing my therapist again. The biggest thing that my therapist shared with me is that I had to live more in the moment. I was so focused on when I pass, I can start my life, or when I pass, I'll start hanging out with my friends, or when I pass, I'll be able to do X, Y, and Z. But because I wasn't living in the moment, I was floating for the past like 6 months. So I wasn't really appreciating what was in front of me. I was getting a lot of anxiety thinking about my future. I was thinking about my job, if they're going to keep me. I was thinking about my future patients. I wasn't focusing on present day. One of the things he shared with me is that you have to find meaning in your days. So be able to wake up in the morning and reflect, what is my purpose on these tasks that I'm doing today? Not focusing about tomorrow, not focusing on the next day, or not worrying about yesterday, focusing on today. And that helped me to just be more motivated and being more inspired opposed to just worrying. And that helped with my anxiety a lot. The best advice I can give is to be kind to yourself. Take care of your mental health. I think that's super important. No one can ever understand what you're feeling when you see that first fail or that second fail or how many fails you see. At the end of the day, just know that you're exactly where you need to be, and that the journey to your dreams is never linear. Personally, for me, reflecting back on these past 6 months have been probably the most important 6 months of my life. The failures that I went through allowed me to really learn a lot about myself. But just remember that you get to do this. This is a privilege, and you get to grind for your dreams. And remember to always look back, because there's always a mountain that you're climbing right now, and it may seem like the tallest mountain in the whole entire world, and it may seem impossible, but just turn around and you can see all the other mountains you overcame, and that's going to give you so much peace because you're so close. You're there. And I truly believe if you just be kind and remember your why, remember you're never alone. Everything's going to be okay. Thank you guys again for all your love and support.